Mr. Peduto and the other candidates, what causes hunger and food insecurity in our city, and what should city government do about the problem, especially as vulnerable populations face threatened cuts in the federal social safety net? Please speak to answers that go beyond just charitable food assistance, if you could.
Sure. Poverty causes hunger. Poverty is caused by many aspects: wage, income, ability and access to quality jobs, ability to get to quality jobs. Hunger is a problem that affects not only young families, but senior citizens. In order to address it, the city first has to recognize it and then has to take proactive action. We created the first after-school dinner program in the city's history and put it into neighborhoods throughout this city. Its primary focus were children who get assistance for school lunches. Its secondary was their parents, and we've been able to bring them into it as well. We created a food truck program for the summers, making all of our swimming pools free, and then bringing food to the children at the pools in order to be able to make sure that they were eating well during the day. And then we've also been, 30 seconds. It's okay. We've also been able to create programs around hunger within our senior centers as well. All of our programs are focused on being able to exceed what most people think of city government when they usually think of public safety and public works. With the cuts coming out of Washington and the cuts coming out of Harrisburg, it's going to be even more important to be able to provide services at a local level that we used to think of as being funded from either federal CDBG funds or from state funds.
Thank you, Mr. Peduto. Mrs. Harris, the question to you.
Okay, basically poverty, divorces, issues of losing jobs. Actually, I was a child in a situation like that where my mother had to take us to neighbors to eat. So I understand not having food. That's why when it comes to council, I'm always happy to give off the top of money we get for our neighborhoods. And I think it's very important to do that. If you know what it's like growing up in a situation like that, you understand that hunger issue. And I think the city should always give for our hunger programs and also our safety programs from city council, from their money, and also the mayor matching that money. Also, I believe that with the school board and what we did when I was on the Pittsburgh school board with the lunches that we've taken out to the different centers and also the evening meals, those are things that should be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Harris. Reverend Welch, you got your microphone there.
Thank you for that question. So when I think about hunger, I think in terms of food insecurities and low food securities. And so it's not just poverty, but it's also having access, the ability to get nutritious food. So in looking at that in totality, we have to make sure that we have ways for people to get access to nutritious food. And some of the ways to deal with that too, because I think your question was also, what do we do in light of the cuts, potential cuts? Urban gardening is, I think, a good way, or a gardening period is a good way to sort of mediate or mitigate some of the potential cuts that may be coming our way, and growing our own food. But in order to do that, we have to make sure that we have good, safe soil to take care of that as well. So.
Thank you, Reverend Welch.